Welcome everybody here to the Join Dota stream. Myself, Toby Kenobi, as well as Syndrome, bringing you what is known as Donkey Kong. It is actually Dota 2, but it's the show matches of Donkey Kong. A bit of a King of the Hill kind of fun thing that was organised by a couple of teams here in Europe. So we have EC versus GC coming up right now, but of course what is coming up even sooner is now introducing my co-commentator. So Syndrome Man, welcome to the broadcast. We're here once again for the world of Dota 2.
Yes, we are, and we love it. We're loving the world of Dota 2, and I am especially loving it for shoutcasting because I always have an ob slot, which is lovely, lovely, lovely. I can't point that out enough. Yeah. By the way, it's also lovely. All right, yeah. GC up against Easy. Easy on the Dire side, GC on the Radiant, commonly in Dota 1 known as the Scourge and the Sentinel, but they've been renamed a bit for Dota 2. Bans are already going. Easy getting rid of that Ancient Apparition. Furion the Prophet, actually called Nature's Prophet in Dota 2, is going to be banned out by the Radiant. And we're going to have it back on the Dire. So these two heroes we have seen ban/play tonight. And of course, the hero pool of Dota 2 right now consists of 47 heroes, in contrast to that of Dota 1, which has more than 100. So the drafts will be more similar. But what is refreshing about it is that the lineups will be different. So you get some other stuff mixed in those lineups, like we saw last game, an Axe picked up by the boys from Monkey, a hero that we see picked in 1 out of 1,000 games in Dota 1. But with that smaller hero pool, some heroes get more attractive and more playable, and that's great. On the other hand, we still have these heroes that just are top picks. Got rid of Chen as well as Anti-Mage, and the first pick coming out for Easy is going to be the Frosty Lich.
Yeah, we love actually playing with a Lich, but we also hate playing against a Lich. If you guys should actually tune into our fun Dota 2 streams, we actually do. Anytime there's a Lich on the lane up against us, it's just basically crap, find a way to pull, find some way of actually getting control of the map. Lich being one of those heroes that he can harass you beautifully with his Frost, and will always have mana because of his sacrificing one of his own creeps, just to basically get mana back again. Of course, that does actually take away all your XP, as well as the gold you would actually get from getting that last hit on the creep. Also, the Frost Army, you don't see that till later on, and then the big Lich oldie for the big group battles, as long as you actually get off in the right place. Weaver actually coming up as another pick again. It's the second time I've actually seen Weaver tonight. Also, even a story shared by Hjort before, about what actually happens when Weaver actually goes into Shuki, aka it's overpowered. At least is the talk around the workplace these days. But Weaver, a very strong hero in the world of Dota 2. Escape mechanisms galore, harassment galore, and basically just one of those great big carries later on in the game. In Dota 2, not Dota 1. I'll always go against that one. And we see Vengeful Spirit also being picked up here by the Radiant. So VS, a great support hero. We've actually got a double negative arm already coming out from the Radiant. Ting can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure they do stack. So the Howl of Terror that comes out from Vengeful Spirit, and then the
Wave of Terror.
Yeah, Wave of Terror. And then the Scarabs from Weaver, which also, if they latch on, also provide you with negative armor.
Yes.
So you got those two. Magic Missile to our love early on the piece. It's always great for early game initiation. And you also have Command Aura, which boosts the damage. Later on in the game, will actually help out Weaver a lot more when it comes to team fights. But what helps out more when it comes to team fights is the swap ability. So Vengeful Spirit able to actually swap positions with anything. So be it, I think it's any creep, any hero, and any neutral, I believe, also works as well. Am I right, Sind? I think I'm right.
Yeah, that Command Aura affects pretty much everything on your team. It's going to be lovely for them to have that coupled up with the minus armor. It's like, it's just... Vengeful Spirit is an interesting hero, and the reason it's a top pick is that it's actually good in all phases of the game. We have a contrast to that as a support in, for instance, Crystal Maiden, who is devastating in the early game, but does not provide with so much in the late game unless in the very unlikely event of having a BKB, which is basically the only way for her to really secure getting that ultimate off late on in the game. But Vengeful Spirit, stun for early game, Wave of Terror to get that minus armor, a bit of extra damage there as well. So in towards late game has that Command Aura that deals tons of damage when you have those farmed up carries. Got the Nether Swap, which is arguably, in my opinion, top 3 best late game skill there is. Level 16 Vengeful Spirit is a game changer. Every single game, that Nether Swap can decide the entire game, repositioning the fight, getting out a key hero, and then bam, you've got your 5-on-4 that you want to push through and get the racks. So has that power the whole game through, which really makes this a very viable hero in almost every single lineup I can't come to think of a lineup in which Vengeful Spirit does not work. It's good for ganking, it's good for defensive play, it's great for pushing as well when you want to get that swap to really enable you to get that push, and it's good in pushing as well for the aura and the minus armor. I mean, this hero provides all the good stuff that you want, and that is really the reason why I always consider it a very important pick, at least to consider in every single game.
I love how you're just mentioning minus armor, because the Radiant have got it coming in bounds, barrels, whatever they want. Slider, VS, Weaver. It is so huge, man. Night Stalker, even during the nighttime, he will actually have trouble living. Like, Night Stalker is one of those heroes that can dive anything and everything, but with those three heroes going up against him, it's going to be really, really hard. Really, really hard.
5 seconds remaining.
The Dire's really going to find some way of controlling this, what is obviously going to be like mass ganking. Vengeful Spirit and Slider just have so much fun. Like, at level 1, you basically got yourself 2 stuns. You got the Crush from Slider, you got the Magic Missile from Vengeful Spirit, and during the middle of that time too, they're going to be doing a crap lot of damage to you, and those stuns also do deal damage as well, so it's a really, really hard time for anybody who goes up in that lane against them. I'm also interested to actually see what type of lanes are actually run here by the Radiant, because at the moment, like, Weaver could actually run that side solo, but most times people do actually like to support the Weaver a little bit more, so get a little bit more farm. But at this point, and I really think Weaver will actually go up towards the top lane, and let's see Slider and VS actually down there on that bottom.
Dire team ban.
Now let me have a look at the heroes once more. Yeah, we're going to probably, for the Radiant, usually with a Slider, you'd like to either dual or tri-lane it. It's very rarely seen that Slider actually gets a solo. At the same time, not really that strong in the laning phase. He has some potential, but against a hero like Shaker, he's going to have a very hard time actually finding an initiation on that top lane where I'm expecting Shaker might be at least. So it could be an option just putting Slider down on bottom with the Vengeful Spirit support, perhaps a secondary support as well. Weaver solo top or mid, and then finally coupling it up with another solo. And, well, the Radiant right now, I should say, tons of minus armor. Could get a lot of heroes, actually, to get synergy with this, since obviously every hero in the game has a physical attack. Some use it more than others. Some have some boosters for it. But right now, sitting on all of this minus armor could consider some other abilities. But you've got to say, the Dire have, like, the best hero against minus armor strat, which is Lich. Is just cruel against it with that frost armor, can really bring back a lot of that armor, as well as slowing that Slider when he wants to go in, attack these targets with frost armor, and he's going to get attack and movement speed slowed, and that's really not what you want to have as a Slider. You want to be able to move freely and get those bashes in when punching like that. And, well, you've got to say that the Dire lineup here, smart drafting as well coming out of the Americans here. They've got control against this minus armor. The minus armor wants to pummel through, wants to pick targets and bring them down during that minus armor. The Dire, tons of control. AoE slow from Veno, AoE stun from Shaker, Lich bouncing slow as well. Balan out for that silence against the Weaver, hard counter pick right there, and just all sorts of control for that fight. It's going to be very hard for the Radiant to actually pull off that minus armor combo, because the big weakness for them right now is, alright, they've got minus armor, they're going to hit hard, but they need to get in, and they don't have any team fight or control apart from the Vengeful Spirit to actually allow them to do that.
Yeah, but they still have 2 more picks up, so they might be able to find that team fight. They have actually banned out a couple of them, which I thought might let them get in, like Clockwork Goblin being taken out of the pool. He is one of the best initiators, right next to Slider as well, and you do actually kind of see them picked up every now and then. CM actually coming up for the Radiant, and then Viper instantly done there by the Dire. So first time we actually get to see a Viper as well. Viper is... You're right, the Dire are basically gone, let's control everything, and even if you want to chase us, we're going to slow you down. We're going to slow you down, and then when you attack the Viper, then you've actually got his skin, which, actually, I'm trying to remember the exact stats of it. I might actually check that out when we actually get it up. Do you remember the exact stats of his skin? The corrosive skin?
I think it's... Oh, shit, I can't remember the exact slow ratio of it. But the good thing in Dota 2 is you can actually click on the hero and see the exact ability. So that is pretty useful.
Yeah. I think Weaver might actually be going solo mid at this point. Puck actually coming up into the lineup.
Could also be Puck mid. It's two
true.
options they've got here. Arguably, if that Viper is going to be mid, it's probably the best idea to actually send the Weaver there, because Puck will have a hard time laning against the Viper. Very strong laner, very aggressive. And Puck, one of the weakest laners in the game, actually. has a very hard time against many heroes in that mid lane. Has a low attack damage, low HP pool, has a little bit of evasion with that phase shift, but at the same time can't really. There's a lot of heroes that Puck can't really challenge on the lane. It needs a lot of levels before it can actually pump out some decent damage with that illusory orb as well as waning rift. So probably putting that Weaver solo mid would not be a bad idea. We're going to see what they actually choose to go with now, though, as the draft has now finished. And looking over that corrosive skin.
PowerNet, get your hero back, dude!
He's just trolling a bit.
Prepare for battle.
You could do that early on, but if you actually go too far and you don't realize how far you actually go, when you die, you actually do lose money.
Yeah.
So
he was probably not looking for that. Anyway, just before we actually get everything kicking, might as well look at the corrosive skin ability. You could pop it up right now. The Viper's third ability, of course, a passive. Gives a movement speed and attack speed slow of 10, 15, 20, 25%. Magic resistance of the same value, and damage over time of 10, 15, 20, 25. So it's basically all about the 10, 15, 20, 25s. 4 abilities on that passive, actually. A very underrated ability. It's really powerful when you look at it. It's the reason that Viper can also be played as a tank. This one, first off, helps the Viper tank up a lot. And of course the Nether Toxin ability, that basically means that regardless of which items Viper has, will deal lots of damage to targets that drop low. As you see, the base bonus damage, 2, 4, 6, 8, and it's basically getting increased whenever the target loses. I can't remember how much percentage of the health it is, but when the target is almost dead, it gives Viper more than 100 base damage, so that is very, very important, and a cruel ability to have, enabling Viper to tank up and still deal high amounts of damage and give tons of control with those slows.
Yeah. My brain just went for a little bit of a fizzle, man. I actually had something really important to say, but I was really listening to what you were saying, so I completely lost my train of thought. People. Yes, there will be actually a couple of issues with the camera. Obviously, we can't scroll the camera, so the camera work won't look the same as what you're actually normally used to. Same with the lanes. We've actually got a tri-lane in mid. It's VSCM and Slada going up against Night Stalker and Veno in mid, leaving our bottom Lich versus Weaver, and top is Puck on Viper, as well as Earthshaker on the pull.
A very interesting lane setup. This is not what I would have predicted, but some very powerful dual lanes coming out of Team Easy here. Just by the looks of how the lanes are positioned right now, will be very, very strong on that top lane, as well as on the bottom lane. Infinity, with that Lich up against Weaver, should get an experience advantage because of that Dark Ritual. As for mid lane, very, very unorthodox lane.
We've kind of like dabbled at this a while ago, like it was about a month. Hello! There's the first cone, there's the stun, there's the crush. Veno tries to get back up on the high ground. He's there. CM needs an attack. He's slowed by the Night Stalker and then attacked by the tower. He might even die right now, or Demon might die. Second crush goes. There's still not enough damage to kill him, and Tides of Time actually healing up and then coming back in to support that carry.
I can't believe he survived that.
That was ballsy, man, and for some reason now Night Stalker decided to drop everything he's actually got on the ground. Actually, is fast to heal, that's why.
Yes. Demon showing why he's Demon.
Yeah, it's a weird thing, and actually you should probably explain the principles behind it too, Sin.
Yeah, basically those gauntlets of strength that he's got that give +3 strength, when he drops those, his max HP pool drops. And that basically means that dropping those attribute items, he will gain more relative hit points by using that flask, which heals a set amount. It hits 400 health it heals, thank God, heals 400 health over those 10 or 12 seconds, I think it's 12. And that basically means when you drop your items, you will get that full heal, and then when you pick them up again, you get relative HP according to the percentage you have. So if you heal up to full with the flask, you put on those gloves again, and you get full HP on the effective one. So that is very useful. And the hero we see it used on the most is the Morphling, who can basically choose to swap around his stats, swap around strength for agility, and then back again. The high-skilled Morphling players usually use that to get a very, very cheap heal by morphing back and forth between those two and then using Flask.
During that time too, we also saw a bit of an attempt of a gank on the bottom lane, but it just never really came to being. Weaver wasn't really in the right spot for it, but CM picked up that 2-minute invis rune on the bottom and actually initiated there on Infinity. That's why he's actually got... Oh, damn that actually, man. I can't stop saying the word. But yes, that's why he actually has no consumables left. Then the courier flies in the new set for him. Mid-gank's actually setting up right now by PowerNet. PowerNet actually dropping down the fissure just to actually stun the Vengeful Spirit, but not doing much more than that. Already the Radiant was falling back past that tier 1 tower. So it's pretty hard to actually get that initiate off, especially considering two of them actually have stuns. One's a close range stun, one's a long range stun, but there's still more than enough. And if you dive back past that tower when they're that close, you're going to take way too much damage for that. I was going to see CM on that bottom lane actually starting to pull. So important when you go up against a lane like Lich. Lich with the ability to actually control that entire creep wave with that sacrifice. You can see him now leveling up to level 2 as well. Just hold the creep wave back, and you actually need these pulls to allow Weaver to actually have a little bit more free range for farm. VS and PowerNet's now going to go head-to-head up on the top of the river. Fissures off, and Vengeful Spirit actually still has a gap to go through that, but he doesn't want to stick around there. Ty's will be quite happy to initiate on him. Surprising Earthshaker actually fell back. And Vengeful Spirit doing the wise thing, actually running up a little bit further up towards the secret shop. And away from Ty's. Now Ty's with that Venomancer water. She has vision. Misses the Gale. So Vengeful Spirit should easily be able to survive this. But actually, first blood actually happens with Crystal Maiden.
Dire's bottom
Yeah, Infinity caught her out with that Frost Blast as well as that double damage rune. That's not something you want to run into as a poor support in the start. CM with a HP pool of about 500, that Lich drops that Frost Blast in a couple of hits and she's done for. And probably wasn't on full HP when he initiated her anyway, so it's going to be very hard. And yeah, that's going to be a first blood for Easy.
That's 3 for 3, man. 3 for 3 that I've missed tonight.
Oh, shit happens, man.
It does.
I got a little bit confused there. That's the first blood. Yep, that's 3 for 3. What is going on in my game? It says 1 for 0. But yeah, Easy's going to get that. And now the rebuttal kill is going to come right away. Boat is already shown up for his revenge. Drops the Nova and the Frostbite. What a TP by Infinity. Perfect timing on that. And gets out with that about 20 HP, Toby.
Yeah, wow. that was slightly insane that actually worked. He waited for the CM stun, and now speaking of stun, middle lane wants to go. Fissure will actually hit on the Vengeful Spirit. There goes once again our Gale, and once again also missing. There goes our Gush, VS stun, and that will be enough to actually hold tight in place this time, but VS also takes a lot of damage there from the Night Stalker. And now Botus the Crystal Maiden rejoins back in towards that middle lane. That Vengeful Spirit is very, very ballsy for coming back in again. But it does get the kill, so they'll be happy with that. Actually, interesting to see, actually. How's our CS going on that top lane? Viper versus Bamboo. Viper's actually 32 for 12. That is huge farm. Sexy Bamboo is actually, it's showing up with Sexy Bambina. It's actually 7 for 1 right now.
That's what I was talking about.
Oh, man.
Against Viper, hopeless battle, and even worse on the top lane. They probably expected Viper to be mid, like I called, and that's the reason they put their lane mid. But
Demon initiate mid. Frost is gone. They might dive this, but they can't. Slider will take too much damage if he does do so, especially with that Venomancer there. Venomancer would have loved them to actually dive that mid towards the Night Stalker. He actually has no earn charges and 6 sick charges at the moment. But he doesn't want to have to use those. Vengeful Spirit's actually set up. Really set up to actually get this gank. There's the first magic missile stun. Slider's going to get up here. There goes that sprint trying to catch up. Crush time. Frost. And that's going to be the kill. Vengeful Spirit actually claiming the last hit. And Lich ulti is going to not bounce. It holds on CM. He still gets the last hit. Vengeful Spirit's coming back in again. Not enough mana for a stun. Slider wants to dive it. But they should have really fallen back after they got that kill on Venomancer. So it ends up being a 1-1 trade. On the bright side, however, Lich leaves the bottom lane once again, so we do see a little bit more farm there on Weaver's end.
Yeah, and that's going to be really important, of course, for the GC side. Seeing that the Viper up top is getting tons of farm, as you pointed out, sitting on 42 CS. Weaver sitting on 28. 27 on the Slarnar in mid, and actually is 27 as well on the Balanar in mid. Very surprising. He's actually tied on farm with the Slarnar when playing a duel against the triple lane. GC should not be too happy with that. But yeah, they are getting farm on the heroes. Score is 2-2.
Park on the run on the top. Silenced as she throws in his ultimate, as she hold Bulba as well as Demon in place. Phase shifting out of the ultimate there of Bulba, but he is actually caught in the size there. VS does not have level 6, so he can't swap him out. Demon, however, is stuck. He's got to run the whole way around. Tides is here. He throws out a Venomancer towards Slarla. Needs this crush. He actually misses it though. But the VS as well as CM is there to hold Demon in place, as well as that Slarla ulti. They want to try and turn this around. Bulba's here. ES Fissure actually locking his teammates here at the secret shot, but they do not care. They got more than enough damage to bring down the Crystal Maiden and then deal with the rest of the creep wave. But that could have been a very, very costly Fissure, but luckily they have that damage output.
And questionable Fissure, of course, but PowerNet is in some sort of a dilemma there. If he drops it aggressively, the Slarla has access. If he drops it defensively, the Slarla can't really get in. And by dropping it like that, he secured them a kill, and also Slarla could not get access to the other heroes, so they could hit completely freely. Yeah, should have perhaps placed it aggressively, and they might have scored another kill, but nevertheless, they get the job done. But now Demon is looking to get even more work done on that Slarla. Venos low as well, Fissure, and that's going to be the end of Tazar, I think, if there's going to be another Void.
He's going up, Parker, I think, was actually looking for the denied jury that time, but was unable to actually do so. Way too many HP points on him, so they do get the kill in the mid. That was pretty. It was interesting timing there from Bamboo to actually try and attempt that deny, because you are getting actually slow damaged over time, so you can actually deny that. But yeah, that was fun anyway. Unable to get the kill, and Viper free farming top. What did he just buy now? He's already got treads. He's already got a ring. He can actually probably have completed up his Vanguard by now, and Vitality Boost is actually heading up towards the top lane. That's actually not as... That's not many items as I thought he would have actually had for the farm he's got. Especially with that one extra kill.
58-23 on that Viper, looking really, really good. 6 creeps per minute, and of course 2.5 denies per minute. Getting towards that Vanguard as well, only needs 200, has the treads too. And that's what it's all about on that Viper, getting up those tank items early on. To be able to withstand the force of the Sentinel. Of course, the Radiant, that it is in Dota 2. It's going to be really important as well. As we talked about the minus armor, the plate mail item is going to be huge for the Dire in this one. And we'll definitely be getting that. They're going to go and Slarla up here. I'm not sure if you're following it right now, but Shaker and Venera are coming in from the side. Going to wait with the Fissure a little bit there, but there it goes. Ultimates and slows. Look at that Slarla. He's using Sprint. He can't move.
And that wasn't even with Demon slow as well stacked on top.
That's a very rare sight, man. A Slarla with Sprint on, slow to 10% movement speed.
That's kind of nuts, man.
But there is a rebuttal kill on bottom, though. CM as well as Weaver couple up again, and this time they do bring down the Lich. Did not allow him to TP out this time around, and Weaver actually scored that kill. So he gets quite a good farm from that as well. And trying to put pressure, actually taking that bottom tier 1 now at the trade for their own tier 1 top.
Yeah, but the kills going off from either side, it's actually completely equal across that. Even though it's actually 6-4 right now in favor of the Dire. It's actually, damn that actually, man, it is not leaving me alone tonight. Pushing the top tier 2 tower. It doesn't look like the Dire wants to actually stop right now. There's Sexy Bamboo will actually orb over the top. It will actually jump in on that, not more than likely, considering what's actually there. There's 3 slows as well as a crap load of DPS, and that would pop someone with Puck's HP points. Ah! I'm going to be quiet for a second and actually regain my brain.
Regain your brain? Insane.
Bottom lane, actually top lane. Who cares about being silent? Sexy Bamboo's about to go down. He's already galed. He's trying to phase shift himself out of that, but it's impossible. VS, however, might be able to get the revenge kill there on Tides. In fact, we'll actually do so with a good stun as well as a howl. And Nice Dog now popping off the ultimate. We're going to look for the kill. Slarla's here. Sexy Bamboo dropping down the ultimate, orbing over the top, jumping away from Bulba, and actually doing a pretty good job to hold the Viper as well as the Nice Stalker in place. But Nice Stalker picking himself up a double kill. A lot of negative armor, and actually a lot of death coming out for the Dive from that. Ended up being it was actually a 4-3 trade in hindsight.
Big rebuy from Puck there. Very good decision. Rebuys, comes in there, snatches the 2 remaining heroes with that Dream Call, securing them 2 additional kills for the rebuy. Definitely worth it.
Yeah, it does balance it out. It would have actually been in balance of the Dire if he didn't actually do that. But hey, It works in the end. It worked in the end, so he's going to be a happy chappy. And goes back up towards the top lane to help on farm up. Getting a couple of levels up as well. Actually, how are we even looking for levels? Balance across them. 8, 6, 8, 9, 6. Seeing a 10 on that Viper, as well as a 9 on the Lich and Night Stalker. So much for them, and that Lich Ollie is now back up again too. Thinking about that mid. The Courier is actually thinking about jumping in there. They might just wait a couple of seconds before it actually does its job. Actually, no, Wand as well as Ring. Actually, enough for Slaughter almost. Actually, no, he's still about 1,000 gold away from completing that Vanguard. He seriously needs that Vanguard. Mid lane, they're actually going to initiate Frost. Bulba wants to catch up for his ultimate. He has caught up. There's a good ES fish. A big Lich ultimate! It gets unlucky on the last couple of bounces, but Tides of Time's ultimate doesn't actually niggle the Slaughter. But Pulver's will actually get the puck. Slaughter with a good crush, picking up the Venomans from the back end of play. But he is running his ass out of that one. That was one hell of a Lich ultimate.
Radiant's middle tower.
Really great bounces, and just goes to display the power of that Chain Frost. If a couple of heroes get caught out of position, it's one of the most punishing spells in the game. It's actually the most punishing spell in the game for lack of positioning, together with perhaps Earthshaker ultimate as well as Black Hole. But that Lich ultimate, if two heroes get astray, they both die. They simply die this early on. You kill them both with that ultimate almost on its own. As you see when you look at that Chain Frost, deals 280 damage per bounce and jumps 7 times. That's basically 4 hits on 2 heroes, for a total whopping of 1,120 damage on both targets on level 1. That is, of course, hero reduced, but it basically means that both heroes take 800 damage from a full Chain Frost if they stand next to each other. That is 2 Lions' Finger of Death on each hero. That's some food for thought.
That's ridiculous, man. It's completely ridiculous. In the meantime, Demon's actually taking over the top lane's roles. He's trying to get towards his Vanguard. He's actually almost there too. Going to buy up a ring. That's actually good. He's actually only about 100, 120 gold away from completing that. How are we looking for Viper though? Viper's actually walking around with a Hood of Defiance now. He actually didn't go the Vanguard. He just bought the Vitality booster. And looks like we're going to see initiation on the bottom lane. They're going to look for Bulba. And Bulba's actually pushing him pretty convincingly, confidently. He doesn't think he's going to go down, especially with Tide there. Weaver Wave will go. Is actually going to miss everything. The puck oldie will catch Bulba in place. They need to lock him down. Second stun, third stun, silence, damage. Weaver gets the kill with the last remaining Shooky. Lich will now come up. Frost, fantastic picture. They pick up the Crystal Maiden. And now VS swapping with PowerNet to get himself out of that. Weaver's running out. Puck has actually already jaunted out. Vengeful Spirit will actually die near the bottom rune. Which is actually not there. It's actually up on the top rune. But that is actually... that's probably a bit of a shame for him. Actually, what was up on top, I would have laughed, is actually Invis. It's double damage.
Yeah, I think GC can be happy in that fight that Lich's Chain Frost was not when that good Fisher landed. Chain Frost there would have instantly ripped 3 heroes. There was nothing around them. But yeah, of course, has the couple of Frost Blasts and does get a double kill on Infinity. Worth noting as well is that he does have that mechanism up, makes a big difference in the fights to get those targets healed up. As the Sentinel have quite a bit of AoE damage with the 2 last picks they got, CM as well as Puck. Mechanism, great item against those 2.
Yeah, you're just trying to do that early burst damage, and then the instant heal comes through, and you're like, hang on, I'm pretty sure we would have got that kill already. And now it doesn't actually happen. And now on the bottom lane, it's getting really pushed out. Venomancer's wards are actually scouting everything coming in towards that bottom lane. And you got to remember, too, Lich's ulti is now back up again. Demon's actually caught here in the middle lane, but it shouldn't be too much of an issue for him as long as it doesn't get too close. He's got to stay back. Lich now comes through. Frost goes. He was thinking about the ultimate, but he's waiting for Weaver, who's already now dead. He won't need to pop it. TP support's coming in, and here comes Slaughter. Lich ulti is going to bounce up and bounce back down again. Slaughter copped 2 of those hits. Puck, however, does get a good ultimate there on Net Infinity, but it won't be enough. Venomous is there on the front lines. Net actually does go down with CM doing the damage in the back. He's trying to kill off Infinity, who then pops off that Meg charge again. Everyone's got the life back again. They get the kill on both. And Vengeful Spirit, the only one to actually live until Demon kills him next to the Tier 2 tower. Entire team down.
Very well executed. Very well executed by Easy there. They knew Balanar was holding up a couple of heroes in that mid lane. See, alright, we can get the initiation. They drop a sentry ward next to the tower to have that control of the Weaver. They know if Weaver, even if he uses that time lapse to jump back in time 5 seconds, 5 seconds ago he was still at the tower. So the sentry ward is a safeguard to get that kill, and they lock him down, take him out, and then from there it all just snowballs with a great Lich ultimate as well. And they score 5 kills in a tower, and that's basically the biggest amount of the best fight you can ask for at about 18 minutes, unless you're basically fighting next to the opponent's base.
It is pretty amazing that 18 minutes in we see a fight so one-sided as that. Like that was a 4-for-1 trade. It wasn't that bad before. It was like 15. It was 15-10 on the kill count before. And now the thing about diving in the mid, TP support instantly coming in. Puck is now here. Well, all the creep wave down a little bit, but misses every single one of the heroes who wouldn't really care anyway. They'll regen from the mech, and they will claim this tier 2 tower in the mid. The Siege Wagon helping. Demon tanking up a little bit. Slider thinking about going in on this, and actually getting a good deny there on that mid tower. Venomancer, fantastic ward. It locks the Slider in place. He's forced to actually stun. Veno pops off the ultimate, actually gets bot on the end of that. And Slider already going down. Crystal Maiden is actually bleeding herself out. Bulba's trying to catch up right now. Sexy Bamboo's going to be here. Lands off the silence, but he's still going to know he's going to take a crap load of damage from the rest of the team coming through. Demon's there. Bamboo goes down. Nice Dog who gets himself a double with that mid push.
21-11, and it seems like snowballing was the right word to use about the last fight and about the game in general. Very even to start with, but now the Dire are just grabbing everything. Kills, towers, map control, they've got everything, and they're just not going to stop at this point. Their lineup very, very powerful at this point. Lich, Shaker, as well as that Balanar and Viper to tank up in front, can organize a really good fight. And of course Venomancer for that bit of slow as well as the control with the ward. As you saw, he blocked off nicely. Venomancer ultimate as well, extra damage. Great control they have on this lineup, and they're really exploiting that to their advantage at this point. And of course, not to forget the mech playing a big role once again on that Lich.
We actually just got a relic board up here on Weaver.
Oh.
And it was actually really impressive. For one, that he's got that farm, but two, Infinity was just like, I think something's going on here. And if that relic went down, all hopes would have been gone for GC. But that relic up on the Weaver really gives them so much when it's going to come to the next fights. I'm talking about like the single damage you actually gets from the German attack, not to mention the pushing power that will be coming from that Radiance, which is now not going to be put back a little bit further. Just manages to shook in time. Demon and Poundnet's chasing him. He runs up in the trees, but Demon is currently hunting and hunting. Puck is here. Fissure holds him in place for the moment. Weaver still actually not time-lapsing early on the piece, which is rather surprising for me. He didn't actually want to use that, especially after that early burst damage. Slider's actually hunting as well. He's found Venomancer. Drops the ultimate. Slider's going to sprint himself back out again. He gets galed. Demon wants to catch up, but Demon losing the vision. Trying to run after the Slider, who's still on his way back out again. And he should be able to get back to that tower until he gets slowed. He needs to get towards that tower. He tries to actually crush, but misses it on Demon. Demon, Fissure, blink from Poundnet. The Fissure was not in range. Demon might be in over his head. He gets stunned by Vengeful Spirit, and Weaver's dealing a fair amount of damage, but it's the Lich holding the back end of play. That gets a lot of damage. It's enough to kill off the Slider, and then he just sprints himself back out again. That's right, Lich now actually does actually have sprint, and looks like Puck tried to catch him in his ultimate.
Does he steal abilities from the heroes he kills? Because killing Slider is not a bad idea then, so you can sprint away.
It's the phase boost, man. It was the phase boots.
Yeah, keep telling yourself that. But yeah, good kill coming out here. The Puck ultimate has already been used. It basically flunked there, so didn't hit anyone with that, and that's might be actually quite expensive now for the Radiant side, as now the Dire will take the bottom tier 2 as well, and might actually see an opening to push into the base. With Puck's ultimate down, they know that they can retreat rather, out of the base if they get in too much over their heads, but looks like, alright, we got the tower, we're happy with that, towards the big stone guy.
Yeah, it's all about Roshan, but you notice there's actually a separate courier there. I'm wondering if that's actually the Radiance courier, and yeah, it is. It's just watching. The courier needs the shield. But it's there just to actually scout out to see when Roshan's going to be attempted. And because that just means they're going to push out this bottom lane. There's not a lot of negative armor that's going to come out from the Dire. So it's going to take them a little bit longer to kill Roshan. But they do actually, however, actually have a lot of damage coming out from Viper. He's actually got that Reaver up already. And that's going to deal a crap load of damage, not to mention the rest of his team. But how long are they going to do this? They got wars up. They know if they're going to get caught out. Roshan is theirs. Nothing the Radiant can do now.
And that Aegis is going to go to Demon's Night Stalker, so he can play really, really aggressively, running in and setting up that fight nicely, knowing he's got 2 lives, and once he comes back to life, he's just as hasty as he is before, if the night actually goes on, that is. But judging from the time of day, there's a long time left before it actually turns day again. And with Balana up to level 12, which is basically the ultimate level 2 on level 11, he's going to be able to extend that night a lot. That's actually the ability Darkness. It turns day to night, but if it's night, it turns night to even darker night, which basically means that the night gets extended by the duration this Darkness ability has. So he can pull that through, and once he's level 16, it basically lasts for 80 seconds and is down for 40. So you can imagine how long the night is actually going to
Oh man, middle lane is about to go off! There's a great puck ultimate, but the Lich Holy is there as well! It hits GC so damn hard! Bo does drop down the ultimate, but they're going to lose puck off in the end of play. It was from the Venomancer. CM just pops! Completely pops! At least Weaver's actually able to time-lapse himself back out of that, then Shookies himself away. He's the only one to have survived through that, and he is running down south. The Radiant is actually done, and it might be enough for him to actually hold off this middle lane, because a lot of damage is actually already done towards the Viper. But that mech charge is actually up just yet. It won't take long before it's going to pop. Fortification goes. Weaver Wave also trying to look for the negative armor. And Halotera goes, yes, with a blink. Good fissure as well. In position to get the Weaver kill. Vengeful Spirit is also there as the consolation prize. Or maybe, you know, if it's actually the icing on the cake, not consolation. But they should be able to take out this mid-tower now. Venomancer wards have basically made a foothold here.
Yeah, the question is if they can even capitalize even more on that and try to get the barracks as well, seeing that 2 heroes are dead on the Radiant. Slaughter actually wants to... he's just putting a little bit of pressure. Has used the sprint, though. So Lich won't be able to steal that one.
Swap! Is it going to be enough? They want to actually bring down the Slaughter. They got the Slaughter! Bamboo with a silence. Demon comes in range of the tier 4 towers. They've got the tier 3 tower in mid, and all 5 heroes are attacking the melee barracks. The barracks is the key. Halotera goes. VS is here, and Boat is getting nailed royally by Bulba. The fissure set it up. VS swap on Bulba, and now Puck only tries to hold him in place next to the tower. Bulba's not out of range of that tower just yet, but ES is still here. There goes the ultimate. Really trying to bring down the Vengeful Spirit. Will do so as well. It's a double kill for the Viper. He wants the Weaver as well. He's going to get it. Give him a triple. Give him a quad. If Sexy Bamboo doesn't get back sometime soon, it is going to be a quad. Lich will look for the Frost as well. In fact, we do see the GG call already coming out now from the Radiant.
Yeah, this is, as I said, the snowball effect basically kicked in. I think the score was 7-8, and now it's 11-32. So basically, the Dire have just pulled this one through magnificently at this point. So we see a nice chain frost bouncing between the heroes here. Wow, look at that damage. But yeah, that's just kudos to Team Easy. They really made it look easy after that point. So living up to their name in that sense. But we'll see if GZ can't bring something more to the table in game number 2. It seemed like they had a pretty good start. But then, great play by Easy. And you've got to say as well, something lacking on the Radiant lineup to actually make those fights happen. They couldn't handle all the control of the Dire. Slaughter completely locked out of the game by that Viper. We saw it several times. And lots of AoE teamfight abilities from Lich, Veno, Shaker is going to set it up nicely, and no real response available for GC, so I think they might have to draft it a little bit differently as well.
Yeah, it's one thing actually looking for the initiation, it's another thing to actually achieve it when you're getting slow trying to run in. So where Slaughter gets his strength to actually just like sprint past everybody to kill the person he actually wants. And when you got Viper, you've got anybody actually, every single person in the Dire's lineup can stop him from moving. Every single person. No wonder they couldn't find the initiation. They thought Puck might be their solution to the problem. They would actually jump over the top of things and really just move around very, very nicely. And it did work. Like we saw that battle up just to the right-hand side of the tier 2 tower on the top lane. And that could have actually worked. And that actually did work for them. Puck's ulti was good. But it just wasn't enough. There was just too many options, too many slows, and it didn't allow for position to come out from the Radiant. So maybe we'll see game 2 being a little bit different. Of course, this is a best of 2 of EC versus GC, and we'll be back here in just a moment with that second game.